Well, I am Virginia George. I'm the Director of Student Support for Academic Year in America, or AYA. To get us started, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell me a little about your background.
Sure. My name is Dana Eide. I am the middle school and high school principal for the Blair Taylor School District. We're a small rural district in western Wisconsin, kind of near the Mississippi. I have been principal here for 8 years. Prior to that time, I was curriculum director, gifted talented coordinator, did other things. Kind of my way past is speech and language pathologist. So I've been in a few districts, but here at Blair Taylor for 20 plus years. I'm happy to be.
Amazing. That's
Yeah.
great. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. One of the reasons I was so excited when you and I first talked is that you have this sort of natural enthusiasm about foreign exchange. And I think that's really fun to talk to someone who has that passion as well. How did you get interested in having exchange students in your district?
How did I get interested? I think it's just been always something that as an educator has been important to me as a parent. We are a global society, we should be. And in a very small, rural, predominantly white school district, I wanted just to make sure that for my own children, as well as all of my children, my extended children through the school, just have that experience of the world is bigger than just our little community. We have a great community, but there's more out there in the world. And what can we do to break down barriers, break down questions, kind of celebrate diversity, things like
Hmm.
that. So it just feels like bringing in students from all around the world is a great way to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is an amazing way to sort of add diversity and, see how it goes. And having AYA or another organization as your backdrop is helpful too, because you can collaborate and really work with the students. Where are some of the countries you've had students from?
Well, this year we had 5 exchange students. 2 of them are from Germany, one was from Brazil, one was from Kyrgyzstan, and one was from France. So we've had students from Asian countries. We do get a lot of families that, because we're little Norway here, they want kids coming over from Norway, kind of all over. It's really exciting to just have that opportunity to kind of choose your child, what's a good
Yeah,
fit, what country do you want to learn more about, who do you want to connect with,
yeah.
and it's also been neat to watch the continued relationships, with
Hmm.
families. Even just last night, I was talking to a family who had an exchange child over 10 years ago and talking about that child's marriage and babies. And, they just stay connected, so it's just
Wow, that's
a
awesome.
great way to stay connected with the world. Yeah.
That's so cool. We love to hear about those long-lasting relationships. What are some of the ways that you share the culture that the students are bringing in? Do you do anything with the whole school community, or are there individual ways that you engage the students?
So a couple different things we do. For one thing, the programs that we've worked with are so good about encouraging the exchange students to get involved. So that helps a lot. So they'll jump in, like our kids this year tried softball and baseball for the first time, cheerleading. I had my student from Kyrgyzstan was in forensics and qualified at the state level. Just having those kids be super involved with a lot of the activities in the school, that really helped. The students themselves, the exchange students, tend to spend a lot of time together. And then one of the benefits they've said is not only do we know more about America, but now because you have so many students from all around the world, then we get to know them as well at the same time. So that's been kind of nice. We had one student stay with a bilingual family, in fact. And so, I mean, bonus, just some great experience and getting to know. But we also encourage our exchange students to present to different classes. And so again, that's part of some of the program requirements. But because we are a small district, we are a united campus, pre-kindergarten through 12th grade in one building. So different times of the year, we'll offer up to our elementary classes as well as our middle and high school classes presentations by our exchange students. And it's fascinating
Oh, I
and
love that.
so much fun. Yeah, it's really neat to sit in a classroom while our students from America are learning about, or in one case, learning the national dance and getting up and dancing with, our exchange kids and just really engaging in that learning. So
That's
yeah, it's been a
so
lot of fun.
great. Yeah, I know, one of the benefits we often talk about is having the students here for more than a few days or even a few weeks. You
Mhm.
get into some of those deeper cultural aspects that you might not recognize if you just are talking about language or dress, like clothing.
Mhm.
What are some of the other cultural differences that you've been able to experience or share with your school community by having the kids here for like a full academic year?
Yeah, like you said, you get to know them as people and then start having that comfort level of asking about, what is your educational system like compared to ours? One of the things that we've heard frequently is just the opportunity to build relationships with staff. And that's not always common, in other countries. And even to the point of kind of teasing and joking and having fun with, and then and relying on, it's been a tough couple of years. And
Hmm.
the first year of COVID when kids had to leave and our exchange kids were just kind of like disappearing one at a time back to their countries or having to stay because they weren't allowed. It just didn't feel right. Just such
Hmm.
a this is not how we normally kind of end our time together. And then, the year after not being able to have kids at all from other countries was so disappointing. So this year was just such a great celebration to come back to having students in and talking about their cultures, talking about their foods, talking about their learning experiences. And so that's kind of one of the big things I always question, how are we doing? Are there things we should be doing differently academically to help
Hmm.
children learn? Just a real, this year especially, a lot of focus on social emotional needs, and that was kind of uncommon for some of the kids, but I think that
Yeah.
goes along with some of that close bonds and relationships that they build with teachers and others here that they were not familiar with. Um,
That's great. We hear sometimes from small rural districts, especially, but otherwise just people who might not be so comfortable with bringing in people from the outside. Sometimes the concern is they worry they don't have enough to offer the exchange students. Why would they want to come here? We're a small school, or we hear some concerns like that. What are some of the things that you enjoy sharing from the American side of things with the students?
That's a really good point. And in fact, one of our students from Germany this year had made that comment about, I heard I was going to Blair Taylor in the middle of nowhere and I didn't know what to expect. And he said now, kind of in reflection at the end of the year, he's so glad he came to this little community in the middle of nowhere because of just the different kind of experiences he can have that aren't typical. We are very much a farming community. That's something that's unusual for a lot of kids, especially when they come here from a city of 100,000, things like that. And we are used to traveling to do things. So we do have larger cities around that we can go to, but also for us, and just like I said, the experience that kids have getting into sports that they've never tried before, drama club, department, choir, band, things like that. We are able to just extend these opportunities for students without major tryouts and team cuts, and things like that.
Hmm.
So they're able to be as involved as our kids here, where you can be in both band and basketball at the same time, and cheerleading, and a member of the drama department. And so that's just kind of how we roll. So just those kind
Hmm.
of in school opportunities are not always common or available to them even at home, even if they come
Yeah.
from different places. So that's
They
some of
can
the nice
be
things to do.
they can be as involved as they want to be. That's
Absolutely, and
great.
usually are. It's fantastic. It's
That's
really added
awesome.
dimension to all the organizations they jump into.
Awesome. There are always struggles that come along with benefits, and that's part of life. And what are some of the things you've learned having had exchange students for a few years now? Is there anything you recommend for preparation or to help set students and host families or faculty up for success?
Yeah, I think communication is super important from the beginning. What is this student's level of English proficiency? We've been very blessed to have students who are highly English proficient, so that hasn't been as much of a barrier, but just something that we have to always keep in mind, regardless of if we're talking about an exchange student or otherwise, just being able to differentiate, not jumping to conclusions on, well, this student must know this, or they're this age, they must understand that. So just always taking that step back and making sure that your message is understood, and just really making sure that the students, again, social emotional needs are met and addressed. There might be some eating habits or needs, either medically or religious wise. We did have a student fasting for a month in accordance to her religion. So that was very different for us. And she was very chill about just kind of explaining what she needs to do and how and why, and that we can go ahead and stop at McDonald's, even though she can't eat of it.
Sure.
Feel so
Yeah.
bad. But yeah, just again, that communication on what do the kids need, and any front loading is super helpful.
Hmm.
What is a student used to? Are they used to having little siblings crawling all over them and their stuff or not? Because that could make a difference in their comfort level with the family that they're with. And I've always found the coordinators of the programs to be really good at matching, like helping to match students with host families, and really being intentional about, yep, this is going to be a situation that's going to be comfortable or not, or if there's allergies and you got a house full of dogs and cats, well, that could be
Yeah.
difficult, that kind of thing. So
That's such a good
um,
point. The local
yeah.
coordinators are such a fantastic asset. And I
Mhm.
think intentionality with communication and looking at them, at the students as a whole person, is such a big part of their role. And also us as administrators, right? Is
Mhm.
being intentional with meeting that student's needs and seeing how we can help them have the best experience possible.
Absolutely.
That's
And the communication with the school is really helpful too. Even, prior to placing, we do have some coordinators who will send us profiles of students, and then we'll put them up on our Facebook page, our Blair Taylor Facebook page, and say, oh, here's a student looking for a place. And here's some pictures of, to help you know who they are. And so we'll have families say, oh, well, my kids all swim and this student is a swimmer. So we'll bring that student in because we can get them to, some swimming experiences and things. So the more you can know about the students in advance, the better match.
great. Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. What would you say, kind of thinking on all of your exchange experiences, can you tell us about one particular highlight that stands out to you as a fun either experience or outcome that's happened with one or a group of students?
Wow, yeah, just one, huh? I would have to say something that, and again, maybe it's kind of current, even though we've had students for a long time. This year we had kind of a quick change need for a coaching position with our cheerleading coaching, and I leaped into that just to help keep the program going. It was mid-season, and a couple of our exchange students were on the cheerleading squad, and that just really enabled me to get to know them even better as being their coach, as well as their principal. It was just great. It was so much fun to see how all of the kids interacted, to see those students really come out of their shell. As a cheerleader, you are leading the crowd, and you've got to help make sure that the crowd is doing the right thing. The crowd is actively, positively engaged, and so just being able to coach them in a different capacity was a lot of fun.
Nice. Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Good energy in that whole setting. That sounds great. If you were to encounter another school administrator who's either hesitant or unsure about bringing exchange students in, is there anything that you would like to share that, could encourage them or maybe reassure them?
Yeah, I would say definitely build a relationship with the coordinators, like yourself, and the local coordinators, so that they get to know you, your school, what you support, what you would like to see with exchange students. What are some of the qualities that you would look for that you think would be a good fit for your school? Some of those, like you said, those leading questions, like, okay, we're a little rural school, make sure a student's okay with seeing combines drive down the road, because that's a whole different breed of cat than,
Yeah.
than you're on a 5-lane highway on a regular basis, and that kind of thing. So any of that front loading you can do, communicating with families. It's kind of become who we are, I'm happy to say, in our district. So having 5 exchange students in a high school of less than 300 is really good, I'd say, and that's pretty familiar, pretty common for us. So kind of once you get the ball rolling, and then I also do, I think probably like other schools, we recognize our exchange students at our graduation. They walk through and that kind of thing. And then also kind of make a big deal about celebrating those students and their host families and their families from home that allowed them to come and spend this year of time with us. Just really recognizing all that took place to make that happen, and encouraging then other people to reach out to current host families and talk to them about that. Like, what does this look like? And so, kind of getting back to that communication piece, but whatever you can do to front load and set up positive experiences, that just helps to just make you want to keep it up, keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's so smart to say, engage other families or potentially interested families with the host families as well, because they're hosting a student, they know, they're really in it. So that's such a
Absolutely.
great way to collaborate with your community. Well, I think those were kind of all the questions that I had. Is there anything else that you would like to share or just, talk about?
I would say as much as you can, encourage students from other parts of the world to come to your school. It just increases, like for us, increases the diversity. And we know that in a more diverse team population setting, just the opportunity for varied perspectives increases everybody's learning and just gets you so ready, whether you're an adult or a child, to go out into the world. My husband and I raised our 3 children here in our district, and I was very grateful for the little experience that they had with some diversity through exchange students, and now they're out, in big cities, and it's not such a shock for them, but it has been to a degree. I mean, it's different. So the more that we can start children younger, just celebrating differences, celebrating diversity, just the better opportunity everyone will have moving forward to be successful adults and make this world a better place.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal, right?
That
I
is the
love it.
goal, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, Mrs. Edie, thank you again for talking with me and sharing your experience and your love of exchange. We really look forward to having students with you guys again in the future because it's been such a fantastic experience.
Well, that's great. Yep, we definitely will want to partner with you again and keep those kids coming.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks so much.
Thank you.